to the show. It is the front bar thanks to the unbelievable great that Marty Sheargold on the show tonight. It's not every night you get to hang out with the Brownlow medalist, but we have got that opportunity.
God, I thought you meant me again, eh?
Won the medal in 2000. Please make him welcome Shane Woewodin, everybody. Thanks for coming on, mate.
Pleasure, mate. Thanks for having me.
No, there's a load to talk to you about, but your career was a magnificent one. You don't get to win the game's highest individual honour without being an outstanding footballer.
Oh.
But it was a circuitous part for you to get there. You're overlooked in a few drafts before you get to Melbourne. As we have a look at your outstanding deeds on the field, did you ever lose the self-belief required to make it at this level when you're getting missed in a couple of drafts?
Oh, you probably do early, after you've missed a couple.
Yep.
But somehow you just stay with the fact of, it's still what I want to do. I didn't want to go to uni, footy. I put all the eggs in the one basket.
Yep.
Get stuffed to university.
Yeah.
Cop that tertiary studies. We got better things to do.
Yeah, so I felt that footy was my pathway, it's my journey, it's where I wanted to go. I didn't want to, as I said, didn't want to go to uni. And
what a great journey it turned out to be at two of the most famous clubs in the competition. And we'll get to that story as it unfolds. But was it everything you wanted and expected?
Oh, and more.
Yeah.
And more, Mick. Yeah, I loved it. It's a difficult game. It's the hardest game to play, there's no doubt. I feel for the current modern-day player. It's just getting harder and harder. But, yeah, loved it. Two fantastic footy clubs I was involved with, living over here in the heartland of it all. It's where I wanted to play.
You look fit enough to play now.
No, far from it, mate.
Yeah, me too.
It's a battle.
Yeah, my days are just over.
Yeah. I'm going to put in a big pre-season.
Oh, I'm going to need a couple.
Now, you're a sensation on the field, you're sensational off the field as well, and often regarded as one of the sexiest men in football.
Yes.
They've been photographed a million times and many of them know they're sexy, but who is the sexiest AFL bachelor? This group of well-known Melbourne women have been charged with the somewhat difficult task of deciding. The boys must pass on looks, smoulder effect, playing ability and the all-important X factor. Expect Shane Woewodin, Shane Crawford and Mark Mercury to be flying high.
I almost saw up your shorts, man.
We'll talk to Shane about that in a moment, but I need to know, I mean, that's all pretty straightforward, but the smoulder effect...
You're not familiar with smoulder, Andy?
What's the smoulder effect?
Do you want to see the smoulder effect?
Yeah, I'd love to, yeah.
A little sample of smoulder effects. That went to Category 5.
That was tsunami warning.
Did you feel threatened by that?
Oh, yes, very much so.
Did you love skateboarding? Because there's a great shot of you here from the Men for All Seasons calendar.
That was my second time at Men for All Seasons, that one.
Was skateboarding a big thing for you?
Not really.
No.
How did you go with all that stuff as it started to find its way towards you?
Very difficult at the Melbourne Footy Club initially. You got scathing reports from our senior players. You certainly knew about it too when you put yourselves out there like that.
Yep.
Just had to tell Gary Lyon, Todd Viney and these boys, no, it's cool. I'll go. I reckon back then it was just part of
it. It was a lot of the fun.
Guys jumped at it.
Those Men for All Seasons characters, everyone loved them. The girls loved sitting around looking at the pictures. No harm done, no foul. We showed this earlier. There's a bit to unpack in this particular picture.
Wow.
How long were you there for, and what did that cyclist say to you on the way past?
Not in great nick, are you?
And if you're genuinely stuck, why didn't you ask for a dink?
Is there a dead body in the back of that panel van?
A panel van too.
Yeah, well, it was one of the classics, wasn't it?
Enough of all that sort of stuff. I mean, you were renowned for leaving no stone unturned through your time at AFL level. And tell us about the story about weighing food. I don't know whether this was folklore, mythology, or whether it was actually a thing that you did.
Yeah, no, I did.
Yep.
And true facts, 2 restaurants as well, they were kitchen scales.
Right.
Toddy Viney was our midfield coach, mentor, big idol of mine through my playing days at the D's. And he grabbed the midfield group one night. We had a dinner at his house. He brought a guy by the name of Shane Charter over, who I think's not in a great place right now. He wanted, I think it was a biochemist by trade. If you wanted to work with him, these are things that... It was more nutritional advice and whatnot. So I left that, went, this is the next phase I need to get to with my footy, and my preparation and nutrition was the way I wanted to take it. And
can't believe I missed that meeting. I'm normally all over that.
Jumped on board with him, and he initially said, mate, if you're going to work with me, we're doing this properly and we're not stuffing around. So
and you weighed food.
So I remember we went to, I think LG jumped on board as a major sponsor at the D's at the time, and we had to, as a part of the leadership group, go up to Sydney on the rocks, get these fancy restaurants, and wine and dine them, and welcome to Melbourne Footy Club.
Yeah.
And here I bring the kitchen scales out from under the chair and ask the waiter to weigh my food. He comes back with me with the grams.
Yeah. You ever weighed any of your food, Mickey?
I've been known to give a Savaki back when it's underweight.
Yes.
I can do it by feel. I can get a bucket of Kentucky and go, this is a wing down.
So you get picked up, right?
I was just acting out with the bucket.
You get picked up in that pre-season draft in '97 and you get dropped right in the middle of the ground. You're a midfielder pretty much from day dot, and you're up against some of the finest players in the game. And I know you loved being able to test yourself against the very best. Nathan Buckley was one of the great opponents that you like testing yourself
Is he as good
against.
as you played against?
Oh, yes, one off, absolutely.
What's he doing there?
Yeah, we noticed that, Wowie. You've seen something on your hand. What's he doing?
I think that may have been about around 17, my first year in '97, and I had to tag Nathan that day, and I think I may have kept him to 8 or 9 that day, which was... and he was one of the best to play on, and it was just a little triggers for me, writing on my hand back then to...
I mean, I'm not a footballer, but I would have thought run was pretty... So I don't know if I'd need to write that one down.
Commit that one to memory. Here's one I want to bring to your attention, because you wrote this on your hand once, and it's Junior, of course. Now, it refers to James McDonald, a teammate, but I'm just going to get you to explain why you've written that. But fortunately, on the day, the Channel 7 commentary team were there, and in case you missed it, Dipper was there to underline the point later.
Junior being written on the back of the hand of Shane Woewodin. We believe that it's maybe for James McDonald, who is out at the moment with an injury and may not play any more football for Melbourne this season. Neitz has shot at goal. He's missed 2, so a couple of misses in the early part of the third term for Melbourne.
I just found out what Junior means. I just asked the bench. James McDonald is out, of course, of a knee injury. His nickname is Junior, and Shane Woewodin was thinking about him on the footy field, because obviously he's going to miss out playing finals.
Good to see you. How's that, Dipper?
Oh, no, Dipper.
He's hearing voices in his head, Dipper.
Did you really love James McDonald? Because it didn't look like you did here.
Right. What's going on?
So, running towards the ball, James...
There we go.
Oh, hang on a second, let's look at that from another angle. And...
What are you doing? If your team...
That looks like Mickey on an Easter egg.
All you can eat buffet.
Any thought at all?
You'd get 4 weeks for that today.
You would, would you? That's my ball.
You knew you were on a roll. I've got this.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Rack them up.
No, magnificent.
We
Hey, if a teammate's getting in your way, mate, you got every right to just push them out of the way and go get that footy yourself. It did lead you becoming the champion player of the season in 2000, your Brownlow year. We'll talk to Shane Woewodin about that on the other side of the break. 2000 became a significant year in the life of Shane Woewodin. Tonight's special guest, of course, he goes on to win the Brownlow medal, which we'll talk about in a moment, wins the BNF and was one of the most dominant players of the season. Well, what was it? Was it just 4th year into the system, you're ready to take it to the next level, or did you do something with your preparation that saw you take your footy to that level?
I certainly felt the preparation because I'd asked myself the question the year before, why am I walking into games and feeling fatigued? 5 minutes in, I'm cooked.
Yep.
It's because you were smoking, mate.
So I certainly felt what I did in my preparation. I obviously had a big pre-season, which are very... you need them, no doubt. Bit of luck. I think I played, wing or back pocket round 1. I played wing round 2 against the Kangaroos. I think I started on a wing in round 3 against Sydney. And then Stephen Phoebe got injured at the SCG, so I went down and played back. And then half-time, Danners has come in and said, need you to go inside and play mid. So went in there, and 20 and a couple in the second half, and then that's where it went. Just played inside mid for the rest of the year and loved it.
So you turn up Brownlow night and you're in the hunt early. You've got 15 votes on the board after 8 rounds. You're becoming the story of the night. As that's dawning on you that you're in the middle of this thing and you're absolutely stoked when you get these big 3 votes in round 21 that stitch it up. What was it like to be part of that night and living through that experience?
Oh, I had no chance because I was on the waters, ready for grand final in 5 days' time. John Longmire, who was my manager at the time, said, write a speech just in case, you never know. So I did.
Write it on your wrist.
Yeah.
Here we go. Thank me.
Yeah. And then,
Run to stage.
Yeah. And unbelievable. Like, I think halfway through the night, around 13 or 14, and when I did stop polling, well, all the superstars weren't polling either.
So Cooter was out there,
Cooter, Westy,
they were all involved.
McLeod, Vossi, Bucks, they weren't voting either. So late in the year, the last 3 or 4 weeks, I'm still in the hunt. Yeah. Then I knew I had a couple of good ones to finish, and particularly around 21 against Geelong where I got the 3, and that sealed the night.
You seem relieved to get those. If we have a look at the footage, we can see it here. See if you can read what's going on.
Woewodin.
Okay. That's pretty good, as opposed to when Scotty West gets the votes and it tightens up a bit.
Western Bulldogs, S West, 3 votes.
Right on.
Not as happy.
It needs a sting. Dun, dun.
But surely the coach, Neil Danaher, was happy with it all.
Not really, I don't
probably
think.
doesn't want me to say this, but he's just a battler.
I mean, it's hardly glowing praise, is it?
I remember the night when I got up off the chair when I won the night and put the jacket on to walk up to the stage, or run to the stage.
Well done.
Yeah. And I think I had a blood nose that night, and I think a bit of blood was wiping on Afi Uze's dress. But you had to go past your secondary table where you're president, coach, and jacket on, walk past Neil. His reaction wasn't very glowing, I reckon. I think it didn't feel that way anyway, because I thought, we've got a grand final in 5 days' time. We don't need these distractions.
Well, maybe that's what he's thinking.
Oh, that's what it was about.
That's what I felt like anyway at the time. But
as the start of a fractious relationship, is that fair to say between you and your coach?
We had some moments.
You had some moments along the way.
Well, bizarrely, 2 years later, so you've won the Brownlow, you become a frontliner in the competition, and 2 years later,
at the top of your game,
news emerges that your time at Melbourne had come to an end.
Currently holidaying in Mauritius, the talented midfielder has been stunned by the news. The Demons prepared to offload him for Collingwood's first pick.
I'm filthy at the club for doing it, and I don't know what we're going to do at the moment. Manager and I will speak about it, but it's pretty downright rude, I thought.
What was it over? Why were you fodder for trade bait?
Yeah,
why?
Just a bit emotional there, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Sean.
I was more worried about you.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the?
Good suit.
You look like the lead singer of Talking Heads. You've been drafted. You've been drafted to the Talking Heads. Why? What was the issue? It was money, wasn't it?
I thought it was money in the end of the day. They probably thought I was on too much, and
you were holidaying in Mauritius.
Yeah.
I think the big question is...
You probably shouldn't have... Probably should have gone to Devonport.
I'm working on the tan beautifully over there.
If you hadn't gone to Devonport, you still would have been at Melbourne. So that's a shock, right? It's an absolute bombshell in the world of footy, and you end up at Collingwood. How did that come about?
Good Lord.
So, obviously, receiving many a phone call, Barmy, Mick, Bucks, Scotty Burns, Ed, all ringing me when I was in Mauritius, and I felt like I had 2 years to run on the contract. I had one club ringing me going, yeah, we want you, and then another club going, mate, get out, see you later.
Yeah.
So just made the decision then and there, pies are in, let's go. So jumped on the
I mean,
pie.
it's never a great time in life when Collingwood's the alternative, is it?
When Collingwood's the saviour.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It was a big game, and I remember this when you had to go back to Melbourne for the first time playing for Collingwood. Talk us through the emotions. Some of the fans weren't that happy.
Wearing your number?
Wearing your number, leaving the ground. How were you treated by the Melbourne fans?
Yeah, not great. Not great.
You were offed by the club, so why would they be upset with you?
I think they probably thought I was the one who jumped ship and wanted to jump ship at the time. I got... the players were certainly felt like they were coming after me game day then.
But a bit set on the ground?
Yeah, a bit set on the ground.
Did you ride any of it down?
A bit of physical stoushing. A bit happening from over the fence, from the crowd and whatnot. It's all part and parcel of the game.
Has it repaired over the years?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it certainly has. Probably took a bit longer than I thought it would.
What did it involve? Did you sit down with anyone in particular?
Yes, I sat down with Neil Danaher, actually.
Okay.
I got a call from David Neitz when I was in Perth saying, Nita rings me up, and we've had a great relationship, Nita and I. And he goes, the coach wants to speak to you. He's got a phone, can pick me up. And
how much later is this?
This is 2018, 19.
Oh, wow.
Jeez. Yeah. So, because it was just before Neil had brought his book out.
Yep.
So, and in the book was a chapter about leadership, and in that chapter was a bit on myself and the trade. So, effectively, a coffee in Scarborough for about 3 hours, and Neil effectively apologised and said, sorry, we shouldn't have done it, and it's a bit late now, but So, mended bridges, good chat. It was well overdue.
Yeah.
I say too little too late.
I'm with you, Mickey.
The way the footy wheel turns is amazing. I mean, you do that after 15 years, and now your boy is making his way at the Melbourne Footy Club, which is fantastic to see.
Fantastic.
His first game for the famous Melbourne Football Club. Another father-son back.
How much joy does the old man get to see his kid living the boyhood dream?
Yeah, absolutely. When you have a front row seat to their journey and their pathway and what they've done and how hard they've worked to get there, nothing better. And that beats everything I've achieved and done in footy.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Richo, you'll love this. Richo made a very astute observation about father and sons.
Woewodin, who's on the ground. Gee, looks like his dad, doesn't he, when you look at his face? Guess kids often look like their parents.
Richo's from Tasmania, where everyone looks like that.
Hey, Wowie, it's been a joy to have you on the program.
Well done, mate.
What a magnificent career.
Thank you very much.
Shane Woewodin, our very special guest. Don't go anywhere. The multi is back after this.
Great stuff.
Great job, Jack.